Everybody knows John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer. But what about the other guys? The lesser known, that are just as evil. Come along and explore them and learn some hard lessons with me, Brett, and my co-host and beautiful wife, Deanna. Each week, we will be exploring the dark minds of these people, also paranormal, conspiracy theory, and some cryptids. We hope you have as much fun with this as we do. Hey, classmates, this is Brett.
Hey, I'm back. This is Deanna.
Aliqua, you did amazing, but my gosh, it's good having Teach back here in the classroom with us today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you was missed.
Hey.
So how was your week?
Short and not intense, chaotic, and just, went by a little fast.
Yeah. There is one thing I got to ask.
Okay.
About a text message you sent me while you were down there in Kyle.
Oh, gosh.
You got lost going to Sonic?
Hey.
It's right around the corner from their house.
That's not supposed to be aired.
That's right around the corner from their house.
How did I get lost? Oh, I know how I got lost. So, I'm turned. No, I went straight.
Oh, instead of that.
Yeah, instead of where that
curve.
light is, instead of turning back to the right, I went straight. And then I'm like, okay, I've never seen this part, so I don't know where I'm at.
Isn't that like a dead end if you go straight? Or? Oh, okay.
It
looked like, I've never gone that way. It just looked like it.
No, you can go on. There's a housing division over there. Lehman. Mm-hmm. I say Lehman, but I don't know how they pronounce it down there. Anyway, there's a tower over there. It says Lehman Lake. So there's houses off over in there.
I've seen that tower.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I was so turned around. But I had also gotten a little confused because we went to the Goodwill and we were going to go to Wendy's, and my brain said, well, Wendy's is right over there. And so I went over there and it wasn't there. And then I was like, oh, yeah, it's over there.
They moved it.
I went across, and as soon as I hit that light, I was like, it's not over here. And I was like, Olivia, where's Wendy's? And she goes, it's back there by Walmart. And I'm like, okay.
Always ask the 8-year-old.
Yeah, she knows where she's going. And then I pull into the Popeyes. I almost went into the drive-thru. I mean, I was like right there, and I paused, and Olivia goes, this isn't it either, Nani. This is Popeyes. And then it was Sonic. Yeah, so I got to travel. I got to see some of Kyle.
Yeah, never seen before. I wouldn't say you got lost. I like to say, I'm just taking y'all on an adventure. Yes, seeing things we've never seen.
Mine is not down into the hood, though, like yours.
Okay, it's a cultural diversity lesson, is what it is. We got to show our kids how everybody lives. Maybe not at 10 o'clock at night like I like to do.
No, not like that, no. Or take us to eat when we are the extreme minority. And it's like, what is happening?
It's all about culture.
Yes.
Trying to raise good kids, accepting of all. And I think we did an amazing job.
Absolutely.
Well, it is good to have you back.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, I don't listen to any of our podcasts. So I don't really know what last week was, except that you got an A triple or plus.
A plus plus plus.
So apparently I'm a hard grader.
Well, I mean, substitutes always go easier on the students than the teacher.
I'm surprised you didn't talk her into not having to do anything like how others.
I tried, but you know, Alika was like, "No, we got to do this.
Yeah, stay on task."
That's right. So, again, big thank you to Alika for co-hosting with me last week.
Heck yes.
Y'all go check out Nosy Nancy's. They're doing a great job down there in Central Texas.
I like listening to them. Those are pretty cool.
They are. Her and Jazz are top notch. All right, so let's get started with a little bit of the more you know.
The less I need in my brain.
Now, do you remember the last the more you know we did? Had to do with the city in Italy that has the free wine fountain?
Well, now I do, yeah.
Let's go ahead and stick with the wine.
Okay.
It takes about 700 grapes for one bottle of wine. That is approximately 2.6 pounds of grapes.
Wow. I'd like to go to a winery and see how it's actually made.
Let's do that. We're gonna be back down in Central Texas in late July.
3 weeks.
Let's plan a trip to one.
Okay.
Surely there's one down there.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Lots.
Anybody in the Austin / Buda / Kyle area? Give us a recommendation of one to go to. So, you ready to get started?
Yes. I don't even know what was picked.
Oh, it is an unsolved case.
Unsolved.
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh. Class is in session.
All right. So, like I said, this is an unsolved case, and the victim's name is Elsa Romo Nickell.
Okay.
Elsa was born September 16th, 1944, in Wellington, Texas.
Whoa.
So that is
my neck of the woods.
That's where Teach's family is from. It's about a hour and a half, 2 hour drive from here.
Yep.
And she passed away on July 13th, 1969, at the ripe young age of 24.
Whoa.
In Panhandle, Texas.
In Panhandle. That's where she passed away?
That's where, yeah.
Okay.
So for those not in our area, the main reason I picked this case is because, number one, I'd never heard of it before, but also Panhandle is less than 30 miles from here. And so it's a small town, maybe a little over 2,000 people, and it's a nice town. They got a Dairy Queen that we usually visit.
That makes the town nice.
Yeah. I mean, they got a good pizza place also, but they have friendly folks there too.
I would go, yeah.
So,
okay. So she was 24. She was from Wellington,
living in Panhandle.
Oh, and lived in Panhandle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, she worked as a secretary for local attorney Marshall Sherwood. She was loved in the community.
So she was the sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And she was young.
She was. Panhandle Chief of Police Sam Teague was actually at Elsa's house the day before the murder because his two sons was over there mowing her yard for her. And so he went and picked them up and spoke with Miss Elsa. So she was still alive.
Okay. And what time did he pick them up?
About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and offered all three of them Coke and candy and said, "You can't leave till you take it." So it just shows her generous giving spirit.
That's something that the older people would do.
Yeah.
But she's 24. Maybe she was an old soul.
She very well could have been. Her younger brother, Jesse Romo, also lived in Panhandle. And on that Sunday, he had come by actually twice to check on his sister. The first time, of course, there was no answer at the door.
Mm-hmm.
So he left and he came back a little while later. Now there was and I didn't list it in my bibliography, but I watched a short clip on YouTube about Elsa, and the guy said that her brother Jesse lived with her and woke up to her alarm clock going off, and that's how he found her. But uh, the other articles that I read said that no, he had stopped by the house twice, once in the morning and once early afternoon to check on her.
So nobody actually corroborated this? Like, how much investigation was actually done?
Well, we'll get into that because they're good-meaning people who kind of screwed things up. So
the killer was just in town. It was probably somebody that, because of screw up investigation, got away with the murder.
Yes, ma'am. The second time Jesse came over, front door was locked, so he walked around to the backyard. The back door was open, but the screen door was locked, so he took his pocket knife out, cut the screen, and unlocked the door.
Okay.
He started calling out for Elsa, but got no answer. He did notice on the counter, I started to point the counter in the kitchen, there were 2 dirty wine glasses. Unfortunately, as Jesse walked through the house calling for Elsa, he found her nude body on her bed with her face covered by a pillow.
So she was suffocated?
According to the autopsy report, that's how they listed it, was suffocation. First officer on the scene was Carson County Sheriff John Nunn. And like I said, the scene was tampered with because sadly, when he got there, well-meaning neighbors were cleaning up.
Oh no!
They had washed the wine glasses.
Oh no!
They didn't want Elsa to be seen in the nude, and also, when you die, things leave your body.
Yeah, so they cleaned her up.
So they washed her and put pajamas on her, and they took the sheets off the bed and put new sheets on, and they vacuumed.
Oh my gosh. That, no wonder it's unsolved.
A lot of evidence just got lost.
Wow.
I remember Chief of Police Teague.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually, when her body was found and it was called in, he was out of town visiting his sister and brother-in-law. Okay. So he didn't arrive until 2 hours after Elsa was discovered.
Okay. Was that an important detail?
Yes.
Okay.
He was not happy that the crime scene was compromised and evidence was lost, obviously. Obviously. And why was that an important detail? Well, before moving to Panhandle to become the chief of police, Chief Teague was a deputy for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, just west of Denver, Colorado. They had at the time, the highest murder solved rate in the United States, and he was one of their homicide detectives.
Oh my gosh.
So he was extremely experienced, extremely knowledgeable, had been to several classes.
He knew what he was doing.
He had about a 90% conviction rate as a homicide detective.
Oh my gosh.
So he would have been able to put things together.
Mm-hmm.
But working with what he had, Teague knew what needed to be done to preserve the crime scene and to collect what evidence might actually still be there.
So when they discovered her, did anybody call him?
The call was put out, but he was 2 hours away visiting his sister and brother-in-law.
They didn't have no phone?
Yeah, but it took him 2 hours to get back. So wherever they lived.
What I'm getting at is that if the moment that she was discovered was like, we've got to notify him, call him up, why wasn't he giving anybody instructions like, get people out of the house, don't touch?
Well, see, even before the sheriff got there, they had already been in there doing it. And sheriff came right away. The sheriff came right away.
Gosh.
Yeah, so it had already been compromised before any law enforcement got there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
it's
ma'am.
just making me mad.
You
like nosy people stay out of that business like that.
I know you don't want her to be seen that way, but there could be evidence.
Yeah, and they're not looking at them in oogling them or ogling them is the word. They're not doing that.
Exactly.
That they are very professional when it comes to that. I mean, I'm just sick and heartbroken.
Yes, ma'am. Now, this was the first murder that had happened in the little town of Panhandle in several years. And before Chief Teague arrived, many protocols had not been followed. I'm sure some of the law enforcement, that was like the first murder they had even been on. You know, and I can remember the first one that I went on. I think I was like 6 months into my law enforcement career with the Hutchinson County Sheriff's Office, and they had one area just north of the border called Electric City.
Yeah.
And they had one down in there, and I was just like, huh? So, you know, they had me stretching out the crime scene tape, and they said, you just take care of stuff out here. And then my job was to, because you have to have a list of who arrived on scene and what time and blah, 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 and in order, and it had to be legible. So that was my job because I had the best handwriting.
You do. You do. You can tell that you've written many handwritten reports because it's legible in all caps.
I've always done that. I don't know. Anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so they didn't have any, okay, if this happens, this is what you do, the protocols. They didn't have any of that.
They had protocols. They just weren't followed.
So they had them. Oh my gosh, I'd be.
Mm-hmm. So like I said, Chief Teague investigated the best that he could. And he was also able to find a couple of hairs that didn't match Elsa or her brother. And a few fingerprints. And he took the fingerprints and the hair samples from people that may have had a motive.
Okay.
So, who may have had a motive?
Well, exactly.
The first suspect on the list is Bill Nickell.
Okay.
Who is Bill Nickell, you might ask?
I'm going to say something because that's her last name.
That is her husband.
Oh.
Remember the week before, or how I said that she was a secretary for an attorney?
Mm-hmm.
The week before, she had filed for divorce.
Oh, with that attorney?
With the attorney, yeah, okay, that she worked for.
Wouldn't that be like conflict of interest?
I don't think back in the 60s they thought too much of that stuff. Okay. I don't think.
Okay, probably not.
Yeah. But he was ruled out quickly. He passed the polygraph, and none of the fingerprints in the house matched his.
There you go. Like polygraph.
Yeah. Second suspect was her brother that found her. He's the one that found her. That's always kind of a suspect, but he was also, due to fingerprints, polygraph, and hair samples, was ruled out. So That was really all they had to go on.
So, two suspects.
Two suspects was, I mean, everybody loved her. Nobody would want to hurt her. The house was bought for Elsa by her parents earlier in 1969, like January, February, after her and Bill had already separated. So Bill actually never lived in the house. So that's why no fingerprints matched him. There was a few witnesses that claimed to have seen a black car with, quote, lots of chrome in Elsa's driveway between 10 and midnight on Saturday night, but nobody saw it leave.
Well, nosy neighbor was up. I'm like, them neighbors know what's going on.
No, they were already in bed getting ready for church Sunday morning. In the weeks and months following the murder, the Panhandle Police Department received a letter from a mysterious woman that was only identified as Mrs. G. The police were able to track her down, but she didn't have any new info than what had already been reported. So they blew her off. You're just getting all your information from the news. You know how people just want to put themselves in the investigation, maybe get a little fame.
So she sent a letter with information in it that she got from the news?
Yeah, nothing new.
Oh,
everything that had already been reported.
Man, I would probably get fired just from the looks on my face. Stupid people like doing crap like that. Just freaking stop.
Exactly.
You're not helping.
If you know something, say something. But if you don't know anything,
keep your mouth shut.
Why make it up?
I would get fired because I would say, "Are you dumb? Like why?
Yeah,
you just wasted those time."
That's exactly right. And nowadays, there's a little law called false report to a police officer. So there's a lot of people that will make up stories and say, well, I heard this or that, or they'll be mad at somebody. Like, say, you and I are getting a divorce and you're wanting to get me in trouble. Well, I heard that Brett, blah, 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 blah. So that's where the false report to a police officer comes in, because you just wasted their time where they could have been looking for the real person, but yet they were looking at me.
Yeah, that happens all too much, and charges are never really filed.
Exactly.
It's just an idle threat.
It is.
Okay, so a black car with chrome.
That's all they had to go on. No license plate, no time that it left.
Well, they just didn't have my skills.
They hadn't been to the Barbara Walters School of Journalism yet. They didn't know all the questions.
Something, but maybe the car had been there before and they weren't concerned about it. Like if it would have been something new, I bet you they would have remembered.
Yeah.
Like that's unusual for a car like this to be there.
Exactly.
So maybe it has been there before. Because I can tell the people across the street. I can tell when their kids are home and when they're going to college.
Teach is our neighborhood watch. And I love it about her. Like in our old house we used to live in, she was all the time staring out that front room. We used it as our dining room. I think it used to be at one point in time a living room.
Mm-hmm.
But she was all the time sitting staring out at it. Have you seen Dennis in a few days? Yeah, I talked to him yesterday. Okay, I was getting worried. I hadn't seen him in a while.
Well, you remember that time they were gone for like a week and a half? And I'm like, babe, something's not right.
Yeah, knock on the door.
Yeah, like they're not there. Something is wrong.
Yeah,
something's wrong.
They were at their son's house in Dallas visiting.
Yeah, but we didn't know that.
They didn't check in with us before they left.
Nope, didn't know they were leaving. All I know is like that truck hasn't moved. Like something is not right.
I love it.
And wasn't there at one point in time like that house that was across that like old man, Mr. Watson, would live in, right? And then he would go off to work, and then nothing would be there. And how many times did I catch people over there that shouldn't have been?
Yeah, especially that one guy that lived just down the street from us that was always, he was like stealing stuff from everybody. I bet you that's the one that stole your bike out of our garage.
So I'm just saying, like, you just have to be aware. So anyway, back to it. Maybe that's what it was, is they had seen that car there before. It didn't raise any alarms.
No flags.
That's a new one. We should, that's a little flashy.
That's right.
There goes my idea, but oh well.
What was your idea? Or do you want to wait till the end?
Yeah, wait till the end, and then I will give you my theory.
Okay. So after many months of scared citizens, break-ins and prowlers on the rise, the police department added a new officer, and they added new streetlights to dark streets. As the case grew cold, Chief Teague left Panhandle for a new department. His daughter, Diane Teague-ish, said in an interview it was something that he carried with him for the rest of his life. This case broke Daddy's heart. Just another little sample of what kind of lady Elsa was. Do you remember they used to call them orphanages? Remember the one that was in Panhandle? Back over? So she would take girls from there home every other weekend, different girls. She felt like they needed somebody to give them a home cooked meal. She would make clothes for them. And not just, different girls every time, but
yes.
Just to give back.
Okay.
That one Teach thought was a little weird.
Flags flew up for me on that.
But now you think it might be somebody from the home, one of the kids. Why didn't you ever bring me?
No. I'm sure people talked to, the girls that she would go and choose or however randomly, and everything was on the up and up.
I bet so.
Like she wasn't grooming them or whatever.
No, it didn't sound like it from what I read. You remember the attorney, Mr. Sherwood, that's that short for, his daughter, Cheryl Sherwood Oliver, remembered Elsa fondly. She loved and doted on me. She always baked the best cookies, and her feet were small, not like my mom's, so I could wear her shoes and play grown-up when I would be at Dad's office.
Oh, that makes it rough.
It does. She remembers also how devastated her dad was when he was considered a suspect, just because he was her boss.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That was the first time you brought him up.
Yeah. They went on a picnic to Amarillo, and her dad always felt like it may be somebody that he had represented in court and lost the case. And so he thought it was somebody getting retribution.
Oh.
And so they went on a picnic, and she said, I remember Dad just always looking around and never really enjoying the time we had as a family, just always being on the lookout.
That makes it sad. That means everybody loved her. She was treasured.
She was.
That's heartbreaking.
In 2013, an unidentified person came forward with previously unreleased information.
In 2013?
In 2013. Wow. Then Carson County Sheriff Lauren Brand and Panhandle Chief of Police Stacey Hardiman, who is now still the Chief of Police in Panhandle, looked into it, but it didn't lead anywhere.
It was unfounded.
It was unfounded.
Oh.
And that is the case of Elsa Romo Nickell. If anybody has any information, you can call Carson County Sheriff Tam Terry at area code 806-537-3511 or the Panhandle Police Department at 806-537-3225.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, I left out this quote by Stacey Hardeman, the now chief of police in Panhandle. We were able to find new pieces to an old puzzle, but it was long ago.
What?
Huh?
I don't even understand what you're saying.
We found new pieces to an old puzzle, but the case was long ago, and we don't have a lot to go on. But they're still, I mean, they have put it as a cold case, but it's an open cold case.
But they found a new piece of evidence.
They found a new piece to the puzzle.
New piece to the puzzle.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that doesn't help.
That's how the chief explained it. So.
I wonder if, since all the new DNA,
they can do the hair.
I wonder if it was kept or something. I wonder if they could do an ancestry test like we've seen on TV.
Like how they caught that serial killer in California, the Golden State Killer.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, it's just sad.
It is sad. Miss Elsa is buried at the South Fairview Cemetery in Wellington, Texas, Section 11, Row 4. Anybody wants to?
I wonder, is that anywhere near my family?
I'll look it up when we're done here and see.
Okay. Was Granny and Papa and
your brother,
a brother and an uncle and other aunts are down there.
Yes, ma'am. So that is the case of Elsa Romo Nickell.
Roma.
Romo. I put an A there, but it is Romo.
Oh.
It's like Tony Romo.
Okay. I was like, you keep mispronouncing this name. That's bad representation.
It is. My bibliography this week is Amarillo.com, the website for the newspaper in Amarillo. Article is called Panhandle Murder Remains Unsolved. Another article on Speaker.com, Death in the Panhandle, Murder of Elsa Romo Nickell. And then findagrave.com for Elsa Romo Nickell. And something that I discovered after all this is that her brother, Jesse, is still alive and is still hopeful that her murder will be solved before he passes.
So how old is he?
He's 68, 69 now, late 60s.
Is he still there in Panhandle?
It didn't say. So I wrote down, because we're a little bit morbid. I didn't want to give out the address of where the murder happened, but I did write down the address. So the next time we go through Panhandle, we can
drive through.
Yeah,
poor girl.
I know.
She trusted whoever did that.
It had to be somebody that she knew, that she had known, that she had visited with. Yeah, because, they were drinking wine together.
Well, and suffocation isn't, that's a personal...
You're up close. It's like choking somebody.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're up close.
Isn't that like a personal...
Yes, ma'am. It's not like, shooting somebody, or like the case I did last week with Aliqua. Her murder weapon was poison. You don't even have to see that person die.
Yeah.
They could take 24 hours for it to work.
Well, my theory is, well, nobody could even corroborate the black car with the lots of chrome, could they?
They couldn't. There was a couple of neighbors that saw it,
but it wasn't corroborated, so it doesn't. Nobody really knew if that really existed.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was going along the lines of, she was messing with the wrong dude and wanted more than he did and just killed her.
I kind of like the attorney's theory, Marshall Sherwood, that it was somebody that he had represented and lost the case.
But then why would she invite them in to have wine? That doesn't make sense. She was more savvy than what you would think.
This is true.
And she would know, like, I would have hoped that she would have been that way. I say, because I don't even know her, but
right.
I'm like, I don't know that I want to have anything to do with you because I know your stuff. I know. And
you're a criminal. I know this.
Yeah. I think it was somebody that she was close with. She was naked, but that doesn't mean that they had a sexual relationship.
Yeah, no, there was no sign of anything.
Of course, who would know because they washed her body.
Yeah, this is true.
But
there would still be bruising, like if it was a rape.
There would still be bruising. But still.
Yeah.
So I think it was posed like that. I think she was suffocated and they posed her like
that. Wanted to embarrass her.
Something, yeah. So I mean, isn't that how people do it? Is like to mortify people, like.
Yes, ma'am.
Could have been a wife.
Very well. I mean, yeah. It's having a girls' night. Let's have a couple of glasses of wine, sit around, talk.
Yeah, by the way, I've caught you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
saw you looking at my man.
Anyway, there's too many theories, not enough evidence to back anything up. This is a sad, senseless murder that will never be solved.
As when I was going through the police academy, I worked here in the sheriff's office as a correctional officer, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Christmas Eve night of either 95 or 96. I can't remember. But I was working the night shift, 11 at night till 7 in the morning. And I get to work, and there had been a murder. And so everybody, like all the detectives from the police department, they were at the sheriff's office. And so I walk in, and they're talking about it. And I asked them, I was like, so any suspects? And one of the detectives turned around and looked at me and said, everybody's a suspect. Where were you earlier? At my parents' house opening Christmas gifts. Had about 8 people around me. I can verify it.
Who was the detective?
Terry Young. Sound about right?
Yep.
So, Teach, I know this was a short one this week. It's an old case. There's not a lot of information about it.
Is that the address?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What is my grade?
I'd have to give you an A.
Yay!
Not an A triple plus.
Hey, that's as long as I'm getting the A's, I'm happy. I'm happy.
I was heartbroken.
It's a very sad, and
I'm curious. I wish my dad was around because I would ask about her. Because he was born in 46.
She was born in 44. They both were in Wellington.
It's not like Wellington's that big.
Yeah, I don't even think there's 2,000 people there. I don't think.
I don't know. It's just everybody knows everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why it's like, and then even my Uncle Jake, Aunt Janice, they would have known her. So I have a lot of family in the cemetery. That's where my family is at, is in the cemetery.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that is a weird connection.
It is.
And sad, and I feel sorry for the family, for her brother and
her mom and dad had to go to their grave not knowing who put their daughter in hers.
Yeah, but
now they know.
Like the moment they knew everything was okay. All
right. So, Teach, what am I reporting on next week?
Serial killer.
Back to a serial killer.
Yeah.
And that is not a person that likes to eat a lot of Captain Crunch.
No.
All right. I think I've got somebody in mind.
Awesome.
You and Veronica need to listen to last week's episode. It's a female serial killer, the one I recorded with Aliqua.
Okay.
It's Judy Buenoano.
Okay. You probably have to text and remind me, and then maybe tomorrow night we could listen to it.
Have a nice little listen before bedtime.
Yeah, in a camper.
Yeah.
We're going to be like, what was that?
So Teach is going to be out. Teach is going to be out of town again this week. I just can't keep her at home. You know how teachers are. They work hard throughout the year, and then the summer they're gone. So
yeah, but this is the last little vacation.
We're going to go again. Last little one without me.
Exactly.
So this is a true vacation because I won't be there. So
the last one was a true vacation too.
So we will. I think she will be back early enough though to record with me.
Should be.
But if not, Jazz from Nosy Nancy's, would you be on standby to be a sub? I'll talk to you about it. Okay. All right. So we will be back next week with the serial killer. Thanks, classmates. We love y'all.
Class is dismissed.